show up? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that
baby.
Wow. Oh, you guys got some pretty neat hardware. Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. Everybody comes here with a topic, some fun stuff to talk about. On deck tonight, Tyler Turner and Joel Park. Thank you, gentlemen.
Hello, everyone.
I think this is going to be an all show and tell episode and an all gun show and tell episode. That's how it looks like it's shaping up to me.
It is.
That sounds like a high possibility. Yes.
The most important part of shooting is the equipment.
I thought it was going to be mindset training.
No, it's equipment.
Fair enough. It's the perfect rhyme. Tell everybody that it's all about their training mindset when really
no,
it's about their.
No.
All right. Well, you guys know the deal. Who would like to go first?
Ben.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well. Can do. Holding in my hot little hands. Again, apologies to the audio people, but people who can see this, Tyler, what does this look like to you?
That looks like an Italian Beretta.
This is a Beretta.
An SD specifically because it has a light rail on it.
A light rail, and it has a decocker. So this is...
It's a decock only. So
you used to sell things like this, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked at I was a gun manager for 6 years. We worked
How many of these did you see come through?
Lots.
A lot of these?
Yeah. People like Glocks better, I'm not going to lie. But...
No. Guns exactly like this.
Oh,
92
none.
GSDs.
You don't see GSDs.
Right. So that's why this gun's... I don't know if it's special to me. It's a little interesting. I saw this at a Shields, no less, Joel.
Okay. Was it new or used?
It was a used gun that you buy at Shields, which means it was a new gun that I paid less.
Yeah, it's like 50 rounds through it then. Okay.
Yeah. You know how the used gun market is there.
Yes. No, they never get shot. You don't see that gun, though.
No, you don't see this gun.
Especially G models you don't see.
So at this point in my shooting career, I had a Beretta 92 FS, I think. And I wanted to do USPSA, and I was told that seemed kind of stupid, the front sight on my FS. I'm like, oh, well, I should get that Brigadier slide so I have a dovetail I can take the front sight off. So if you have shot Berettas in the past, and you've shot like the 92 FS, as most people have, or many people have, this one is just a little different. Dovetail front sight, a little bit fatter slide, decock only, makes it, instead of being, like kind of stupid for competition or like not ideal, this one's actually pretty good. So, I mean, that was what I'd read. I'd read, hey, this is the one to buy. So I saw it and I bought it immediately, like on the spot. Mm-hmm. And this is what I started shooting USPSA with, an IDPA. Like, this was my competition gun when I started, was this thing. So that's why this gun is, it's kind of special to me. I still have it hanging around after, I don't know how long I've had it. I'm pretty old. I've maybe had it 15 years at this point. But it's still hanging around. So there. What do you say about that, Joel? I started shooting a Safariland holster off of a leather belt with Comptac single mag pouches. That's what I started shooting USPSA with.
Yeah, I had a leather Galco belt.
Yes. I had some pretty shit gear to start with.
Well, then I saw people...
the gun. I'll stand by this gun. This gun is actually pretty good.
No, this gun's fine.
And I've shot the new Berettas, guys, the competition one. Mm-hmm. I'd prefer this.
I was going to ask you about that.
I'd prefer this to the new one. The new one's really top heavy. It kind of feels weird. It'd take a lot of getting used to.
The beaver tail is sloped downward. And
the
that really
seems
strange to me.
Yes, it is. It's not my favorite.
I haven't shot Berettas a lot, but I've held a few. I really like the 92 frame. I don't like the Vertec frame at all. It's way too skinny, way too narrow.
I agree. This is the standard 92 frame.
I don't know why they didn't do the 92 frame on the Performance series.
These are all questions. Like, they're Italian engineers, Tyler. Like, don't think about it too hard. They're just going to do what they're going to do. But I shot, I think, 2 seasons with this gun. And I've still retained it because I kind of like it. I don't have much of an incentive to sell it. Go ahead, Joel.
I had an Elite 2 actually back the day, long before I knew who you were. It would have been like probably 04, 06, something like that. And I shot it a bit, not really. I was shooting a Para LDA, which I've long since fallen apart and sold, was my production gun. But I had a Beretta to mess around with, and I actually liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it shot fine.
Yeah, so I had a pretty good experience with the Berettas.
I originally bought it. I'm not gonna lie, because like John McClane and what's the dude? Martin Riggs had one, so I wanted a Beretta.
Yeah,
and the regular one was like kind of boring. And I worked at Shields, so I could get whatever I wanted. So I'm like, oh, this one's got forward cocking serrations, and it's an Elite. That sounds all right. So I'll buy that.
I don't remember what I paid for this hoe. I think it was like $1,000. It was a lot. It was a fair chunk of change at the time. Maybe it was $900. I don't know. It was not a super cheap gun. No, but it has night sights, Joel, for shooting at night. Yeah, that's right. I shot. Take a look at this. If you could see in my my camera here, this is 3-dot night sights on this thing. And I made GM with this gun. 3-dot night sights. Yeah, fuck yeah. We're shooting this bitch.
I almost bought one of those Millenniums too, if you remember that gun.
Yeah, those looked a bit hokey to me, but
yeah, it was too much bling.
But if a Millennium came out right now, I'd buy it. Like I bought the special edition Shadow 2 without even blinking.
I almost bought a Blame. It was a single action only gun.
Maybe I have too much disposable income. I don't know.
High possibility.
I would buy that Millennium shit without even blinking right now.
Didn't they come out with there was something, it was like the 92, except 92 was spelled out.
It was 90 dash.
90 dash TWO.
Yeah.
It was like a polymer framed one.
Yeah.
Redis had some serious marketing and sort of nomenclature missteps.
Well, that was about a contract, I believe, was why those 90 dash 2s came out.
Mm.
The Vertex, I messed around with the Vertex 2s, but I didn't like those as much.
So while we're talking about Berettas, the fixed barrel versus the tilt barrel in most silver guns, is there any real difference in recoil impulse? Is that something you feel or describe?
Not that I could detect, but Ben was a lot higher level shooting than I was when I went online.
It did. I'll tell you, like, I don't notice that much of a difference. The problem is there's too many components. So like some dude on Instagram asked me, I had a stock 3 is what I just take pictures of random crap and put it on Instagram. It's like, oh, shooting a stock 3 today. Okay. And the guy's like, what's the difference between the standard barrel on the stock 3 and the bull barrel on a stock 2? And it's like, oh, dude, I don't know. Like, I mean, the dust cover's different on this one. There's a light rail over here. This one's a different length of recoil system and all that. Like, by the time, like, they're never the same. So it's really hard to tell. So that having been said, I couldn't really tell much of a difference.
Yeah.
Just can't.
Nice. Tyler, you going next?
Yeah. I have this. It's a Zev OZ9.
Oh.
Woo-wee.
I've been allowed to play with this over the winter, and I haven't shot a lot off season and all that, but I've dry fired quite a bit, and I really like this. It balances very well, better than a Glock, I would say, because there's a machined, I guess they would call it a frame, and it just like maybe a P320 or something like that, where all the trigger group and the rail and everything is one piece, and then they have replaceable grip modules. I really like it. The weight is right where you want it. It's maybe just a little bit forward bias, but man, it seems like they may have out-Glocked Glock. So I'm liking it.
Nice, you like it.
I'm excited when it gets warm again to shoot it a lot.
Will you shoot any matches with that?
Yeah. I may shoot some limited minor just for kicks over the winter.
Is that gun not production legal?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the list. It's on the list, yeah.
I love that slightly evasive answer.
What? It's on the list. No. Oh, and I should note, this is not like a stock color scheme. Someone just spray painted this.
Is that that's a weight on the end of on the rail, right?
This
Frame weight? Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. This is part of the frame module.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Joel,
So
I
yeah,
shot
it's
those
like
a
a
little bit
built-in
too, Joel.
frame weight.
Oh, okay.
I liked it, the one that I shot, but I didn't like it that much more than a Glock 17 or a Glock 34. So
That's totally fair. I'm with you. Totally with you.
all right. GMJP, what do you got?
Well, go figure. A Glock
Hey.
also.
We should do a Glock party. You want me to go grab one?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So I come back and shoot this gun a lot for a couple of reasons. Basically, it is a stock gun, other than it has a 3.5-pound connector, like just the factory one. I don't have any other springs. I don't have like the Terran Tactical Special trigger or anything like that. I have a sight's obviously done, so a black fixed rear and a fiber optic front. That's a must. But other than that, the trigger is probably, I'll make it much noise for the audio rip people, but I don't know. It's probably every bit of 4 pounds, something like that. But I like shooting this gun a lot because it's not really my favorite. I don't really love it, but I think I learn a lot shooting it. And I'm surprised how well I can shoot it, to be frank with you, because all I do is I just hold this turd the same way I would hold one of my Tanfos, and the bullets go where I send them. I mean, I'm not saying I shoot it as well as I shoot my stock too, but like if I hold the gun correctly and I press the trigger correctly, like yeah, the trigger's a little bit heavier. Maybe people complain about the grip angle, whatever, but like shooting is shooting, and this thing kind of always reminds me of that.
And it's cheap and simple.
And it works great. Like that's why I've not messed with it, because I want it to work when I pull the trigger. So that's it.
When something gets dirty or a part breaks, you throw it in the trash and you get the next one.
Okay.
It's really efficient.
How often does stuff break on your Glocks there, Tyler? You might go a season without changing a part, I imagine.
No, I preemptively change stuff because I'm OCD a little bit, but yeah, if I let it go, I could make it through an entire season. I'm pretty confident without anything breaking.
The other thing that was interesting to me is, it's off season. I'm just messing around anyway. I have a holster. It's not set up with a boss, but just a basic Blade Tech. It's a dropped offset with their regular stinger, whatever the regular attachment is. And I put on an extra belt I have. And so I was just practicing, like, what about drawing this thing? I'm like, well, first couple times, of course, you pull it up and the angle doesn't match. The front sight's high, right? But after, I'll say 3 minutes of dry fire, when I pulled that thing up, the sights were exactly where I want it to be, just messing around. Maybe 5 minutes. And I was drawing it pretty quick. And the gun was pointing right where I wanted it to. And I thought that was interesting also, because I expected something like this. It's a new gun. It will take me so much long. And maybe that's just maybe my skill level where I'm at in shooting. But I thought it would be a lot tougher than it was. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So I'm dry fire, I did some mag changes, that kind of stuff. And then I threw back on my Tanfo. Then when I pulled up my Tanfo, of course, I drew it the first couple of times, and it took me a couple tries. And then the front sight was like way too low, and I was trying to find it because, I was aiming at like the lower delta with my Tanfo then. But it was just interesting to me that I have so much time on that Tanfo, and within 5 minutes, I'm not saying it was world class or Tyler level, but it was pretty okay.
It was just not Tyler level.
It was not Tyler level, but it was pretty okay. Like I was a draw that I would have been fine doing in a match. So it was just interesting how fast I adapted to shooting something that I don't mess around with much at all. And then I went back to my Tanfo that I have a lot of reps on. I was drawing that the same way as I shot my Glock, or was drawing the Glock.
So while we're talking about the important stuff, the gun, you see this all the time on forums and everywhere else. So let's say you got a production guy just getting started. He's got a Glock, he's got an M&P, whatever. He's curious about the CZ, he's curious about the Tanfo. Would you have that person just go ahead and get it out of the way so you can quit worrying about it and thinking about it and having that in the back of your mind? Would you go ahead and have him buy that at the beginning of his career? Let's say he's C-class?
I would say... Sorry.
Or would you say no? Wait till you're a master or GM, and then switch them if you feel like it.
It depends on the person. If it's Ben that knows he can win with the Beretta, then that's fine. If Ben says I can't win anything with the Beretta, I have to have the Tanfo, he will make himself true. Like he will make himself correct.
Himself right, yeah.
Yeah, or I'm sorry, make himself right. That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
So if that person has in their mind like the gear's holding them back, then just buy it. And if it's somebody like Tyler, it's like, hey, with this Glock is fine, I can shoot it fine. If he has that mindset, and they're not shooting something stupid, it's like if they have like a High Point or some Taurus or maybe a Glock 26, it's like, hey, that's not a USPSA. You need a full size gun. But
I think it's personality dependent too, Tyler. So there's the type of guy who's like really flighty with his gear, where it's like maybe I should shoot this, and maybe I should shoot that. No, I want to try that. Like let me try that carry optics gun. Ooh, that limited gun. Let me try that. Like that guy, it's like when you say to that dude, like quit fucking around, just pick one and shoot it for right now, and like don't worry about this other crap. Just pick something and shoot it for now. That's the right thing to say. But if it's somebody who is like pretty level-headed, and let's say they have like there's not a financial issue, so they'll show up to a match and they'll be like, let's say they're shooting some really basic setup like a Glock 17 that they have, and they're like, yeah, I'm not really sure this is for me. I see a lot of guys shooting the CZs or 10 followers, and I'd be like, all right, cool. Just try a stock 2, try a shadow, like whichever one you like, just buy 2 of them and shoot that. And then that person's not going to be like messing around with a bunch of different stuff. I think that's fine to do that right away. I would have no problem giving that advice. Mm-hmm. If they can like pick something and stick with it for a while.
And to the person I would say that finances are tight, I would say you don't know enough to know what you want. Yeah. Shoot whatever you have now for a while.
Yeah, the same guy. If the same guy shows up with a basic setup with a Glock 17 and money's tight, it'll be like, look, the gun is really minor. You might feel hugely disadvantaged, but you're not. Like you're shooting, like if he's shooting 40% against Tyler, which is very realistic for a first-time guy, it'll be like, okay, you could have a Glock 34 like Tyler, which is a little nicer. It shoots a little bit softer, but it's not a game changer. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't need to buy a different gun. Like you just like shooting your Glock is fine. Like that's good advice too. It just it depends on the guy.
Yeah, and to that person, $1,000 spent on a Tanfo or whatever, maybe more. You could buy a lot of ammo for that.
Yeah, you could buy his reloading setup, which is probably going to be more important.
Which would pay a lot more dividends. If money's tight, spending that money elsewhere than
when money's tight, you don't fuck around changing guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I sure didn't. Like back in the Beretta days, it was like, yeah, this is fine. All right, should we move on to a question, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yep.
When there's a section of a stage where you're going to have to retreat uprange from a downrange shooting position, do you reload before leaving the downrange position or reload after you've run uprange and get to the next position? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. I want to make sure I'm not getting much of a reaction, so I want to make sure I read the question right.
It depends. It depends.
What does it depend on, Joel? I think you're so smart.
Well, you could prioritize running really hard. You make sure the gun's pointed down range. You hit the mag release button. You focus on running up range, finding your spot where you want to plant, whatever. And then maybe you have a little bit of a corner or something you can round. And while you're doing that, it's at a way where the gun's pointed down range that would make sense for you to seat the magazine. Or maybe you are going to run up range 2 yards. And for that, maybe you just kind of slowly back step and you load the gun and then you turn and find the spot. So I don't know. It'd be maybe for me, I think it would be tough to give just a blanket answer because it really depends on the stage, how far you're going to be running, how specific your spot you have to set up.
You're talking a lot of sense. So I would say this, like when you have the safe angle becoming an issue, like the 180 is an issue when you're reloading. You only, in my opinion, delay the reload or like wait to do the reload only if you have to, given what the angle is. So let's say if I'm right-handed, moving backwards and to my left, there's not really a good way for me to move up range to my left as a righty. and reload at the same time. So in that situation, I would delay reloading until, I kind of get to where I'm going. I don't like reload then run, because if you reload then move, you're going to eat the reload time. If you do one of the deals where you run to where you're supposed to be going and you start seating the magazine as you're setting up, if you nail that reload, you don't really lose any time. If you fuck it up, of course you're going to eat you're going to eat it. But if you reload then move, you're going to eat it every time. If that makes sense. That's why I don't like doing that.
And when you hit on the safe angle, I would say regardless of skill level, safety and the fact that I very well could get DQ'd, it makes a lot more sense to me that if I lose a second on a stage, whatever, it's gone. And I can even think of stages where maybe I was shooting like somewhat close to where the safe angle is, and I thought, hey, if I break my grip here to load the gun, there's a very good chance. So I'm, let's say I'm shooting left-handed, shooting at targets on the right side of the safe angle. I know when I kind of flip the gun to hit the button, there's a very good chance I might break it. So it's like, hey, I'll just wait until I am pointed down range, and then I'll load the gun. Maybe I lose a little bit of time, maybe I don't, but I'm going to be very, very cautious because this is something that could result in disaster. And so, like, if I was doing any of those types of uprange movements, like, my priority is, like, what can I be, safe? And then, of course, after that, you're looking at speed. But not getting DQ'd is the important part.
Sure is. Anything to add to that, Mr. Tyler?
No, I'm with both of you. When it comes to uprange movement, my sort of flow chart, if you will, always starts with risk avoidance, with 180 concerns. If I had to put a general rule of thumb, I would say I'm more comfortable turning to the right.
Yeah, you're right-handed, so that would make sense.
And so, it's kind of an intuitive thing when you're walking stages. I usually know just by feel what I want to do and what's going to be most efficient. But just depending on situation, like if you have to navigate a wall as well, at like a wall, or you have to, break your movement angle in addition to an uprange movement, I'm more likely to just load it, just absorb the time so that I can navigate the obstacles best and have the gun up for sure instead of trying to stick a load at the end. Anything weird like that, I'd be more inclined to just go ahead and stick the load. I'm more inclined, if I'm turning into my left side, to just grab the mag, point the gun downrange safely, and then stick the load when I get where I'm going, or when I'm approaching, when I've oriented my body back downrange, just as a rule of thumb. But it's all by feel, really. And that's why it's important in training to run this every which way, every angle you can imagine, every direction, just so you can create your own library of experiences, I guess, that you can draw from when you're on the actual stage.
It's a good place to end it, guys. Well done. Thank you so much, Tyler and Joel, for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Listeners, if you have any questions, go to benstecker.com. Send me your questions. We try to get to them. Do want a show, we kind of pick at them. So, yeah, that's the deal, guys. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on to another bang up
podcast.
Episode.
It was a bang up podcast.
I don't know if it was bang up. Like it was functional.
It's okay.